There we go. The book. Badge. Okay, finally got it, guys. I was just sorting out the whole live thing on the Red app. It was taking so much longer than needed to. You can hear me though, right? I specifically did that, Rowan, because not everybody is comfortable with speaking when they're online. So it's like, hey, now people can talk to me. You can hear me. You can't hear the people in my chat, in my Discord call right now, because it's like, not everyone likes that type of stuff. I love talking, so I don't mind. Okay, I will be leaving the call though. I'll see you later. Hey guys, I'm not in the call anymore. It's fine. It is tough out here. Who's excited for the book reading, guys? I am. Oh yeah. I'm glad you're drinking it, Rowan. That's my type of guy, man. Oh yeah. Me. You ran out of Coke Zero. That sucks. Chicken and rice. Okay, guys. Hey, can you please censor that word? Hi, Sosa. Can you please censor that word, Adara? Not everybody likes that word. That word's kind of gross. How are you, Sosa? Sosa, Karma subscribed. Again, now has the tier 2 badge. I'm sorting that out right now, Karma. Give me a second. Green book. Also, Karma, it doesn't say, I don't have a, you'll see soon. It'll be ticking over soon for some people. All you can know is, look, if you look at me, I'll send my message. You can see my book, the 1.5 year subscriber badge. You can see it's a gold one. Oh, there's no notification. I didn't get a notification that you subscribed. I can't play the sound. It won't be for another couple of weeks still, Dara. I've got this. I'm gonna fix it though. I'm gonna fix it. Give me a sec. I can have it in my heart. There you go. I got the sound to play, but it was for Kevin. But I did get the sound to play. Yeah, Karma's nickname's not Kevin, guys. I'm thinking. By the way, for the TikTok live guys, the following sound. You want me to do the following sound? For the Oh yeah, I get you. For the TikTok live, I'm thinking of putting my uwu when people subscribe as just like their entire screen. Kevin's the green name. Their username is Who? Oh, I was gonna say something, but I can't think. Give me a sec.
Hello, princess.
No, I did test. The Kevin just followed too.
Hello, princess.
Sounds working. What about? Yeah, buddy. Alan's working too, guys.
Hello, princess.
It's just happening all at once. That one doesn't happen often because that one's when people send bits. That one's when people send bits. My woo ones. It is time, ready, Isabella. Well, if you do want to send a bit, it's next to the freaking mochi button. The radio will start in a couple minutes, Isabella. Just let everyone come in. Oh, the one where I killed the alpha crocodile. I have to find that. Actually, no, I clipped that. I can find that. It was also on TikTok. The O one is something, yeah. It is something that happens every day, guys. I mean, somebody follows me at least once a day, so we usually get a new follower icon. The subscriber one doesn't happen very often, and the bits one doesn't happen very often, but the follow one happens quite a lot. Wait, did somebody donate bits? What happened? Did somebody just donate bits? Hey, thank you for the roses, Isabella. Because Caleb's goal went from the goal went up because of Karma subscribing. Ah, that makes sense. Caleb, oh. Oh no. Uh-oh. The sound is happening, isn't it? Can you guys not hear the sound? I can hear the sound. It's blasting my ear. Oh, what the heck? Oh, wait. Give me a sec. Wait. Guys, you can't hear it, but I can hear it. I can hear it. Hi, Avery. How are you? Wait, Sosa can hear it? You can hear it, Sosa? You can hear the air, buddy? It is the high blip noise, but I can't figure out. There is the yeah buddy happening, but it's not a. That's really annoying. I can hear the blip as well. Oh. I can hear that. I can hear the blip, but trust me, I can also hear the yeah buddy too. Oh no, what have I done? What have I done? Let me figure this out before I start streaming. You can send bigger amounts.
And if you aren't using the right tools, then you're leaving money and followers on the table. So in this video,
Give me a
I'm
sec,
showing you
guys.
how to set up professional stream alerts that work in OBS
Hi, Benji.
Studio,
Give me 1
Streamlabs,
second.
and even Meld
Thank you for that, by the way,
Now, there's
Dick. I really
million
appreciate you.
third-party sites out there like Streamlabs or Stream Elements for alerts, but today we're using Twitch's native alert system. Why? Because it's the only way to unlock those massive full-screen celebrations and hype train alerts that actually get your chat hyped up. So buckle up, because we're going to old, boring stream design to fun celebrations.
Sorry,
and
guys.
broadcasting that your mama ain't ready for. Head on over to your Twitch account and then go to the top right corner, click your icon, and then hit Creator Dashboard. By the way, every Monday
Guys,
on Twitch, I do
bear
live
with me.
office hours to answer your questions, so link is in the description if you want to get your
Bear with
questions
me.
answered. Once you're on
It's
the Creator
happening.
Dashboard, look to the left-hand side, you're going to click the Alerts tab, and you'll see a bunch of stuff on the screen, which is a little intimidating, but you're just going to navigate to the right-hand side of the screen and click Create Alert Box, that purple button. So click that, and you're going to see all of these different alerts that we can control, such as followers, subs, gifted sub, bits, charity, hype trains, channel points, goals, and more. So to get us started, we're going to look at the new follow alert. So we're just going to click on new follow, and then the middle is going to be our preview, so that's what it's going to look like. And then the top right, you're going to see all of these different settings. That's how we're going to customize our alerts here. So if we start with general, you can name
Okay. So. Okay, no stress, Benji. I appreciate you, mate. You're all good. I appreciate you anyway. You're always, like I said, you're always welcome to join, even if it's only a small amount of time. Okay, so do you remember how long ago it was you sent those audio files? Oh my gosh, Deacon. Thank you so much. Can I? How do I do that? Thank you, Deacon. I really appreciate it, mate. Oh, I found the uwu. I found the uwu. The uwu's been downloaded. But I need the, Hello Princess. Was that before? Sorry guys, bear with me. That's not the one I wanted. You got this, Adara. I believe in you. Found it. They've both been downloaded. Did I said it like loud?
Hello, princess.
You guys can hear that? Probably not. Where is... You can hear it? Dick. Hey, give me 1 sec, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you for the follow, Annie. I'm doing my alerts for the purple app. Thank you for Annie, by the way. Hey, give me a sec. I'm just quickly doing all the sub stuff. I got like 2 more to do. Battlefield? No, I don't. I've played it in the past, but I haven't, yet. And now I need to find... Give me a sec, guys. I just need to find... Lily. Battlefield 1, I think, was the last one I played. Okay, wait, hear me out. I'm almost there.
Whatever you want, this is just for your sake. No one else is going to see it, just for categorization. For your alert condition, that's going to vary depending on what type of alert you're working with. So followers, you're really only going to have one condition because you can only get a new...
I can add a channel point sound. I can add a channel point sound.
Follower, that's pretty much it. Versus if you have bits, if you click on bits, for
I'm gonna be like,
the alert condition can be
like a dog.
cheered at least
Hey, AJ.
this amount, or the first time cheer, or cheered exactly this amount. So you can have a lot more flexibility and control depending on what the actual alert type is. But with follower alerts, you can only really have...
What's up, Abraham? How you going, man?
So don't even worry about that. Underneath that is duration. 10 seconds is a very satisfactory amount of time, chat. No more, no less. 10 seconds is very fair and satisfying for the average person. Underneath
Okay,
that,
wait, give me a sec.
and you can choose the animation style, so if you want it to fade in...
Can somebody try...
slide down, zoom in,
Give me
all
a
that
sec.
stuff, you
Can somebody try doing an alert now?
here, and then next to it is how long that animation takes. So if you want it to take 2 seconds, you would put 2 here and 2 there, and then we're going to hit save changes anytime you make any changes. Otherwise, we're not going to see those changes being made. Make sure you're saving your...
Did you hear that? Did you guys hear that? Thank you, by the way, Rowan. Thank you so much for the 100 bits.
For this, we're going to hit preview alert because that's going to preview it in this box here for us on the actual website. So we're going to hit preview alert. It's going to take 2 seconds to fade in and 2 seconds to fade out. Usually that's pretty good. I'm going to leave it at 1 just to make it quicker. And then duration, let's probably leave it to like 5 seconds actually. So I changed my mind. So I'm going to hit save changes, and then we're going to move on to the layout. Layout is just going to be where the image is in according to the text. So right now the image is on top of the text. If you want to have it opposite, you can click that one. If you want to have it over it, you can do that. If you want to have it next to it, so on and so forth.
That sounds fun.
Leave it like this. You can choose the background. You can choose the padding, so how much space there is in between the two things. You can have rounded corners.
I do. I only take song requests on the purple app, though.
The gear and then go to advanced audio properties for this. And then we're going to go to the audio monitoring side right here, and we can see that this says sound alerts. You can also see it has the little globe for browser source.
Yeah. All right, mate. So I've noticed there's no alert sound for the use audio controller with OBS. Yes, here we go. Okay, one more time. Could people try just sound like 1 bit or something like that? We're so close. I think I figured it out. Yeah, buddy. Now I'm not getting any noise. Huh? Wait, did you hear that? Did you hear that? You heard it? Sweet. Sweet. Let's go. We got it. Oh yeah. I'm glad. Hey guys, we're 20 minutes late. No, you're all good, Abraham. Have a good day, mate. Also, all of that, we're now nearly halfway towards getting Caleb Dinkum, guys. Nearly halfway towards getting Caleb Dinkum. That's pretty crazy. Okay, we're starting reading now. I'm locking in. No worries, bye. Ready? Here we go. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Chapter 16, Professor Trelawney's Prediction. Harry's euphoria at finally winning the Quidditch Cup lasted at least a week. Even the weather seemed to be celebrating. As June approached, the days became cloudless and sultry, and all anybody felt like doing was strolling into the grounds and flopping down into the grass with several pints of iced pumpkin juice, perhaps playing a casual game of gobstones or watching the giant squid propel itself dreamily across the surface of the lake. But they couldn't. The exams were nearly upon them, and instead of lazing around outside, the students were forced to remain inside the castle, trying to bully their brains into concentrating while enticing wafts of summer air drifted through the windows. Even Fred and George Weasley had been spotted working. They were about to take their owls, ordinary wizarding levels. Percy was getting ready to sit in his newts, nastily exhausting wizarding tests, the highest qualifications Hogwarts offered. As Percy hoped to enter the Ministry of Magic, he needed top grades. He was becoming increasingly edgy and gave very severe punishments to anybody who disturbed the quiet of the common room in the evenings. In fact, the only person who seemed to be more anxious than Percy was Hermione. Harry and Ron had given up asking her how she was managing to attend several classes at once, but they couldn't restrain themselves when they saw the timetable she had drawn up for herself. The first column read, Monday, 9 o'clock, arithmancy. 9 o'clock, transfiguration. Lunch. 1 o'clock, charms. 1 o'clock, ancient runes. Hermione, Ron said cautiously, because she was liable to explode when interrupted these days. Are you sure you've copied these times right? What? Snapped Hermione, picking up the exam timetable and examining it. Yes, of course I have. Is there any point in asking how you're going to sit in 2 exams at once? Said Harry. No, said Hermione shortly. Has any of you ever seen my copy of Mnemology and Grammatica? Oh yeah, I borrowed it for a bit of bedtime reading, said Ron, but very quietly. Hermione started shifting heaps of parchment around her table, looking for the book. Just then, there was a rustle at the window and Hedwig fluttered through it, a note clutched tightly in her beak. It's from Hagrid, said Harry, ripping the note open. Buckbeak's appeal. It's set for the 6th. That's the day we finish our exams. said Hermione, still looking everywhere for the arithmancy book. And they're coming up here to do it, said Harry, still reading the letter. Someone from the Ministry of Magic and an executioner. Hermione looked up startled. They're bringing the execution to the appeal, but that sounds as though they've already decided. Yeah, it does, said Harry slowly. It can't, Ron howled. I've spent ages reading up for him. They can't just ignore it all. Harry had a horrible feeling that the committee for the disposal of dangerous creatures had already made up its mind for it by Malfoy. Draco, who had been noticeably subdued since the Gryffindor's triumph in the Quidditch finals, seemed to regain some of his old swagger over the next few days. From sneering comments that Harry overheard, Malfoy was certain Buckbeak was going to be killed, and seemed thoroughly pleased with himself for bringing it about. It was all Harry could do to stop himself from imitating Hermione and hitting Malfoy in the face on these occasions. And the worst thing of all was that they had no time or opportunity to go and see Hagrid, because the strict new measures had not been lifted, and Harry didn't dare retrieve his invisibility cloak from beneath the one-eyed witch. Exam week began, and an unnatural hush fell over the castle. The third years emerged from the transfiguration at lunchtime on Monday, limp and ashen-faced, comparing results and bemoaning the difficulty of the classes they had been set, which had included turning a teapot into a tortoise. Hermione irritated the rest by fussing about how her tortoise had looked exactly more like a turtle, which was the least of everyone's worries. Mine still had a snout for a tail. What a nightmare. Were the tortoises supposed to breathe steam? It still had a willow pattern shell. Do you think that'll count against me? Then, after a hasty lunch, it was straight back upstairs for the charms exam. Hermione had been right. Professor Flitwick did indeed test the Muncheering charms. Harry slightly overdid his out of nerves, and Ron was partnering him, ended up in fits of hysterical laughter, and had to be led away to a quiet room for an hour before he was ready to perform the charm himself. After dinner, the students hurried back to their common rooms, not to relax, but to start revising for their care of magical creatures, potions, and astronomy. Hagrid presided over the care of magical creatures exam the following morning with a very preoccupied air indeed. His heart didn't seem to be in it at all. He had provided a large tub of fresh flubberworms for the class and told them that to pass the test, their flubberworm had to still be alive at the end of 1 hour. As flubberworms flourished best, if left to their own devices, it was the easiest exam any of them had ever sat. It also gave Harry, Ron, and Hermione plenty of opportunity to speak to Hagrid. Beaky's getting a little depressed, Hagrid told them, bending low on the pretense of checking that Hagrid's flubberworm was still alive. Been cooped up too long. But still, we know day after tomorrow, one way or another. They had potions that afternoon, which was an unqualified disaster. Try as Harry might, he couldn't get his confusing concoction to thicken, and Snape, standing watch with an air of vindictive pleasure, scribbling something down that looked suspiciously like a zero onto his notes before moving away. Then the astronomy at midnight, up on the tallest tower, History of Magic on Wednesday morning, in which Harry scribbled everything Florin Fortescue had ever told him about medieval witch hunts, while wishing he could have had one of Fortescue's choco nut sundaes with him in the stifling classroom. Wednesday afternoon meant herbology, in the greenhouses under a baking hot sun, then back in the common rooms once more with the backs of their necks sunburnt, thinking longingly of the next day, when it would all be over. Second last exam on Thursday morning was Defense Against the Dark Arts. Professor Lupin had compiled the most unusual exam any of them had ever taken, a sort of obstacle course outside in the sun. They had to wade across a deep paddling pool containing a Grindylow, cross a series of potholes full of redcaps, squash their way across a patch of marsh, ignoring the misleading directions from a hickey bunk, then climb into an old trunk and battle a new bucket. Excellent, Harry, Lupin muttered as Harry climbed out of the trunk, grinning. Full marks. Flushed with his success, Harry hung around to watch Ron and Hermione. Ron did very well until he reached the hinky punk, which successfully confused him into sinking waist deep high into the quagmire. Hermione did everything perfectly until she reached the trunk with the boggart in it. After about a minute, she burst out again, screaming. "Hermione!" Lupin started. "What's the matter?" Professor McGonagall!" she gasped, pointing into the trunk. She said I failed everything." It took a little while to calm Hermione down. When at last she had regained a bit of her grip, she, Harry, and Ron went back to the castle. Ron was still slightly inclined to laugh at Hermione's boggart, but an argument was averted by the sight that met them at the top of the steps. Cornelius Fudge, sweating slightly in his pinstriped cloak, was standing there out on the grounds. He stared at the sight of Harry. Hello there, Harry. Just had an exam, I suspect. Nearly finished?" Yes," said Harry. Ron and Hermione, not being on speaking terms with the Ministry of Magic, hovered awkwardly in the background. "Lovely day," said Fudge, casting an eye over the lake. Pity. He sighed deeply and looked down at Harry. "I'm here on an unpleasant mission, Harry. The Committee for the Disposal of Dangerous Creatures required a witness to the execution of a mad hippogriff. As I needed to visit Hogwarts to check on the Black situation, I was asked to step in." "Does this mean the appeal's already happened?" Ron interrupted, stepping forwards. No, it's scheduled for this afternoon," said Fudge, looking curiously at Ron. "Then you might not have to witness an execution at all," Ron shouted. "The hippogriff might get off." Before Fudge could answer, two wizards came through the castle doors behind him. One was so ancient he appeared to be withering before their eyes. The other was tall and strapping, with a thin black mustache. Harry gathered they were the representatives of the Committee for the Disposal of Dangerous Creatures. "Because the very old wizard squinted towards Hagrid's cabin and said in a feeble voice, Dear, I'm getting too old for this. 2 o'clock, isn't it, Fudge?" Black Mustache Man was fingering something in his belt. Harry looked and saw he was running one broad thumb across the blade of a shining axe. Ron opened his mouth to say something, but Hermione nudged him hard in the ribs and jerked her head towards the entrance hall. "Why'd you stop me?" said Ron angrily as they entered the great hall for lunch. "Didn't you see them? They've got their axe ready. This isn't justice." "Ron, your dad works for the Ministry. You can't go saying things like this to his boss," said Hermione, but she too looked very upset. "As long as Hagrid keeps his head this time and argues his case properly, they can't possibly execute Buckbeak." But Harry could tell Hermione didn't really believe what she was saying. All around them, people were talking excitedly as they ate their lunch, happily anticipating the end of exams that afternoon. But Harry, Ron, and Hermione, lost in the worry about Hagrid and Buckbeak, didn't join in. Harry and Ron's last exam was divination. Hermione's Muggle studies. They walked up the marble staircase together. Hermione left them on the first floor, and Harry and Ron proceeded all the way up to the 7th, where many of their class was waiting on the spiral staircase to Professor Trelawney's classroom, trying to cram in a bit of last-minute revision. "He's seeing us all separately," that Neville informed them as they sat down next to him. He had a copy of Unfogging the Future open on his lap as the pages devoted to crystal gazing. "Have either of you seen anything in the crystal ball?" he asked unhappily. "Nope," said Ron in an offhand voice. He kept checking his watch. Harry knew that he was counting down the time until Buckbeak's appeal. The queue of people outside the classroom shortened very slowly. As each person climbed back down the silver ladder, the rest of the class hissed, "What did she ask? Was it okay?" But they all refused to say. "She says the crystal ball told her that. If I tell you, I'll have a horrible accident," squeaked Neville as he clambered back down the ladder towards Harry and Ron, who had now reached the landing. "That's convenient," Ron snorted. "You know, I'm starting to think Hermione was right about her." He jabbed his thumb towards the trapdoor overhead. "She's a right old fraud." "Yeah," said Harry, looking at his own watch. It was now 2 o'clock. "Wish she'd hurry up." Parvati came back down the ladder, glowing with pride. "He says I've got all the marks of a true seer," she informed Ron and Harry. "I saw loads of stuff. Well, good luck." She hurried off down the spiral staircase towards Lavender. "Ronald Weasley," said the familiar misty voice from over their heads. Ron grimaced at Harry and climbed the silver ladder out of sight. Harry was now the only person left to be tested. He settled down on the floor with his back against the wall, listening to a fly buzzing in the sunny window, his mind across the ground with Hagrid. Finally, after about 20 minutes, Ron's large feet reappeared in the ladder. "How'd you go?" Harry. Standing up. Rubbish, said Ron. Couldn't see a thing, so I made some stuff up. Don't think she was convinced, though. Meet you in the common room, Harry muttered as Professor Trelawney's voice called, Harry Potter. The tower room was hotter than before. The curtains were closed, the fire was alight, and the usual sickly scent made Harry cough as he stumbled through the clutter of chairs and tables to Professor Trelawney sat waiting for him before a large crystal ball. Good day, my dear, she said softly. If you would kindly sit and gaze into the orb, take your time now. Then tell me what you see within. Harry bent over the crystal ball and stared as hard as he could, willing it to show him something other than swirling white fog. But nothing happened. Well? Said Professor Trelawney prompted delicately. What do you see? Heat was overpowering and his nostrils were stinging with the perfumed smoke wafting from the fire beside them. Thought of what Ron had said and just decided to pretend. Said Harry. Dark shape. What does it resemble? Whispered Professor Trelawney. Think now. Harry cast his mind around, then it landed on Buckbeak. Hippogriff, he said firmly. Indeed, whispered Professor Trelawney, scribbling keenly on the parchment perched up on her knees. My boy, you may well be seeing the outcome of the poor Hagrid's troubles with the Ministry of Magic. Look closer. Does that hippogriff appear to have its head? Yes, said Harry firmly. Are you sure? Professor Trelawney urged him. Are you quite sure, dear? You don't see it writhing on the ground? Perhaps a shadow figure with an axe behind it? No, said Harry, starting to feel slightly sick. No blood? No weeping Hagrid? No, Harry said again, wanting more than ever to leave the room in the heat. It looks fine. It's flying away. Professor Trelawney sighed. Well, dear, I think we'll leave it there. A little disappointing, but I'm sure you all did your best. Relieved, Ron got up, picked up his bag, and turned to go, but a large thud, a large, harsh voice came behind him. It will happen tonight. Harry wheeled around. Professor Trelawney had got rigid in her armchair. Her eyes were unfocused and her mouth was sagging. Sorry? But Professor Trelawney didn't seem to hear him. Her eyes started to roll. Harry stood there in a panic. She looked as though she was about to have some sort of seizure. He hesitated, thinking of running to the hospital wing, and then Professor Trelawney spoke again, in the same harsh voice, unlike her own. The Dark Lord lies alone and friendless, abandoned by his followers. His servants have been chained these 12 years. Tonight, before midnight, the servant will break free and set out to rejoin his master. The Dark Lord will rise again with his servant, and greater and more terrible than ever. Before midnight, the servant will set out to rejoin his master. Professor Trelawney's head fell towards her chest. She made a grunting sort of noise. Then, quite suddenly, her head snapped. Oh, I'm sorry, dear boy, she said dreamily. The heat of the day, you know. I drifted off for a moment. Harry stood there, still staring. Is there anything wrong, my dear? You just told me that the Dark Lord's going to rise again. That his servant's going to go back to him. Professor Trelawney looked thoroughly startled. The Dark Lord? He who must not be named? My dear boy, that's hardly something to joke about. Rise again, indeed. But you did just said it. You said the Dark Lord. I think you must have dozed off too, dear, said Professor Trelawney. I would certainly not presume to predict anything quite as far-fetched as that. Harry climbed back down the ladder and the spiral staircase, wondering, had he just heard Professor Trelawney make a real prediction? Or had that been her idea of an impressive end to the test? 5 minutes later, he was dashing past the security trolls outside the entrance to the Gryffindor Tower, Professor Trelawney's words still resounding in his head. People were striding past him in the opposite direction, laughing, joking, heading for the grounds in a bit of a long-awaited freedom. By the time he had reached the portrait hall and entered the common room, it was almost deserted. Over in the corner, however, sat Ron and Hermione. Professor Trelawney, Harry panted, just told me. But he came abruptly to a stop at their faces. Buckbeak lost, said Ron weakly. Hagrid's just sent this. Hagrid's note was dry this time. No tears had splattered it, yet his hand seemed to have been shaken so much as he wrote that it was hardly eligible. Lost appeal. They're gonna execute at sunset. Nothing you can do. Don't come down. I don't want you to see it. Hagrid. We've got to go, said Harry at once. He can't just sit there on his own waiting for the executioner. Sunset, though, said Ron, who was staring out of the window in a glazed sort of way, will never be allowed, especially you, Harry. Harry sank his head into his hands, thinking. If only we had the invisibility cloak. Where is it? Said Hermione. Harry told her about leaving it in the passageway under the One-Eyed Witch. If Snape sees me anywhere near that again, I'm in serious trouble, he finished. That's true, said Hermione, getting to her feet. If he sees you. How do you open the witch's hump again? You tap it and say Descendium, said Harry, but Hermione didn't wait for the rest of the sentence. She strode across the room, pushed the fat lady's portrait open, and vanished from sight. She hasn't gone to get it, Ron said, staring after her. She had. Hermione turned a quarter of an hour later, with the silvery cloak folded carefully under her robes. Hermione, I don't know what's gotten into you lately, said Ron, astounded. First you hit Malfoy, then you walk out of Professor Trelawney. Hermione looked rather flattered. They went down to the dinner with everybody else, but did not return to the Gryffindor Tower after. Harry had the cloak hidden down the front of his robes. He had to keep his arms folded in to hide the lump. They skulked into the empty chamber on the entrance hall, listening until they were sure it was deserted. They had heard a last pair of people hurrying across the hall and a slamming door. Hermione poked her head around the door. Okay, she whispered. No one's there. Cloak on. Walking very closely together so that nobody could see them, they crossed the hall on tiptoe beneath the cloak, then walked down the stone steps from the grounds. The sun was already sinking behind the forbidden forest, gilding the top branches of the trees. They reached Hagrid's cabin and knocked. He was a minute in answering, and when he did, he looked all around for his visitor, pale-faced and trembling. It's us, Harry whispered. We're wearing the invisibility cloak. Let us in and we can take it off. You shouldn't have come, Hagrid whispered, but he stood back and they stepped inside. Hagrid shut the door quickly and Harry pulled off the cloak. Hagrid was not crying, nor did he throw himself upon their necks. He looked like a man who did not know where he was or what to do. This helplessness was worse to watch than tears. Want some tea? He said. His great hands were shaking as he reached for the kettle. Where's Buckbeak? Hagrid? Said Hermione hesitantly. I took him outside, said Hagrid, spilling milk all over the table as he filled up the jug. He's tethered to me pumpkin patch. Thought he ought to see the trees and smell the fresh air before... Hagrid's hands trembled so violently that the milk jug slipped from his grasp and shattered all over the floor. I'll do it, Hagrid, said Hermione, quickly hurrying over and started to clean up the mess. There's another one in me cupboard, Hagrid said, sitting down and wiping his forehead on his sleeve. Harry glanced at Ron, who looked back hopelessly. Isn't there anything anyone can do, Hagrid? Harry asked fiercely, sitting down next to him. Dumbledore. He's tried, said Hagrid. He's got no power to overrule the committee. He told them Buckbeak's all right, but they're scared. Yet, you know what Malfoy's like. Threatened him, I suspect. And the executioner, McNair, he's an old pal of Malfoy's. But it'll be quick, clean, and I'll be beside him. Hagrid swallowed. His eyes were darting all over the cabin as though looking for some shred of hope or comfort. Dumbledore's going to come down in a while. While it happens, wrote me this morning. Said he wants to be with me. Great man, Dumbledore. Hermione, who had been rummaging in Hagrid's cupboard looking for another milk jug, let out a small, quickly stifled sob. She straightened up with the new jug in her hands, fighting back tears. We'll stay with you too, Hagrid, she began, but Hagrid shook his shaggy head. You'd go back to the castle. I told you, I don't want you watching, and you shouldn't have come down here anyway. If Fudge and old Dumbledore catch you out here with permission, Harry, you'll be in big trouble. Silent tears were now streaming down Hermione's face, but she hid them from Hagrid, bustling around making tea. Then, as she picked up the milk bottle to pour some into the jug, she let out a shriek. Ron! I don't believe it! It's Scabbers! Ron gaped at her. What are you talking about? Hermione carried the milk jug over the table and turned it upside down. With a frantic squeak and much scrambling to get inside, Scabbers the rat came sliding out onto the table. Scabbers! Said Ron blankly. Scabbers, what are you doing here? He grabbed the struggling rat and held him into the light. Scabbers looked dreadful. He was thinner than ever. Large tufts of hair had fallen out and leaving bald white patches. And he's writhing in Ron's hands as though desperate to free himself. It's okay, Scabbers. No caps. There's nothing here to hurt you. Hagrid suddenly stood up, his eyes fixed on the window. His normally ruddy face had gone colour of parchment. They're coming. Harry, Ron, and Hermione whipped around. A group of men were walking down the distant castle steps, in front of which was Albus Dumbledore, his silver beard gleaming in the dying light sun. Next to him trotted Cornelius Fudge. Behind them came the feeble old committee member and the executioner McNair. You gotta go, said Hagrid. Every inch of him was trembling. They mustn't find you here. Go on now. Ron stuffed Scabbers into his pocket and Hermione picked up the cloak. I'll let you out the back way, said Hagrid. They followed him to the door into his garden. Harry felt strangely unreal, even more when he saw Buckbeak a few yards away, tethered to a tree behind Hagrid's pumpkin patch. Buckbeak seemed to know something was happening. He turned his sharp beak from side to side and pawed the ground nervously. It's okay, Beaky, said Hagrid softly. It's okay. He turned to Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Go on, he said. Get going. But they didn't move. Hagrid, we can't. We'll tell them what really happened. They can't kill him. Go, said Hagrid fiercely. It's bad enough without you lot in trouble at all. They had no choice. As Hermione threw the cloak over Harry and Ron, they heard voices at the front of the cabin. Hagrid looked at the place where they had just vanished from sight. Go quickly, he said hoarsely. Don't listen. And he strode back into his cabin as someone knocked on the front door. Slowly, in a kind of horrified trance, Harry, Ron, and Hermione set off silently around Hagrid's house. As they reached the other side, the front door closed with a sharp snap. Please, let's hurry, Hermione whispered. I can't stand it. I can't bear it. They stared up at the sloping lawn towards the castle. The sun was sinking fast now. The sky had turned into a clear purple-tinged grey, but to the west there was a ruby-red glow. Ron stopped dead. Oh, please, Ron. It's Scabbers. He won't stay put. Ron bent over, trying to keep Scabbers in his pocket, but the rat was going berserk, squeaking madly, twisting and flailing, trying to sink his teeth into Ron's hand. Scabbers, it's me, you idiot! It's Ron! Ron hissed. They heard a door open behind them and men's voices. Oh, Ron, please, let's get moving. They're going to do it. Hermione breathed. Okay, Scabbers, stay put. They walked forwards. Harry, like Hermione, was trying not to listen to the fumble of voices behind them. Ron stopped again. I can't hold him. Scabbers, shut up. Everyone will hear us. The rat was squealing wildly, but not loudly enough to cover up the sounds drifting from Hagrid's garden. There was a jumble of indistinct male voices and a silence, and then, without warning, the unmistakable swish and thud of an axe. Hermione swayed on the spot. They did it, she whispered to Harry. I don't believe it. They did it. What do you think, guys? Thank you for the follow, by the way, guys. All of you in the TikTok, sorry for that. What do we think of that one, guys? That was a bit of an intense chapter. That chapter's a little crazy, man. Thanks, Deacon. Hey, welcome back, Morosis. Yes, Prisoner of Azkaban is a good one. It's getting full on, isn't it? I know. I think everybody knows because he just guessed what actually happens. We've all seen the movies, Morosis. We've all seen the movies. We know exactly what he predicted in that in the crystal ball. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Thank you. Yeah. Both classes, please. How much? Yeah, I'll do that now. Uh-oh. What? I can probably do it. I'm not working Friday, so I can do it, yeah. The 95? Don't think so. I don't know where Deacon went. No, oh, Deacon got timed out. I think Deacon sent a lot of individual I think Deacon sent a lot of individual bits. How do I untime out somebody? Let me look it up. I think everybody's seen it, by the way. Should be good now. Deacon, you should be good to talk now, by the way. Jilla's my dog. She's asleep. You can't redeem that right now. Welcome back. Thank you for that, Deacon. I don't know what the heck happened there, but I really appreciate it. I need to update that. Jill is asleep. Hi, Charlie. How are you? She's asleep, not in my room. She is quite literally asleep in my sister's room. So it's physically impossible for me to get into her. I can wake my sister up, but I'm not doing that. How are we all going in the TikTok chat? I don't think there's anybody active there right now. I saw Charlie say hi. There's a lot of people talking in the past. But nothing now. I'll try and get her in the stream tomorrow morning for you guys if you'd like. Tomorrow morning stream. Abby is doing a lot of early morning shifts, so she's been in bed at like 8 p.m. a lot recently. Yeah. Unfortunately, Abby has been in bed pretty early. You just missed it, Solus. I quite literally just finished reading a chapter of Harry Potter. What do you think, guys? I added a sound to the stuff. Oh yeah. What do you think? It was weird. Do it every evening, by the way, Solus. Every evening, 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I read a book. So my bottle is actually in my car from today. I can run downstairs and grab it if you'd like, Morosis. That way I can read, I can drink, or I can just run downstairs and get a drink of water off after the stream. I can promise you that I'll get a drink of water once I end the stream, because I don't actually have access to any water right now. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That you can't do with that. Nothing you can do about that, unfortunately. Send proof? Okay. I'll send proof, guys. Thank you for the follow, Solus. What happened? Wait, Cat, do you guys want to see, say hello to, Karma? Oh, no, Ben, this is Basil. This is Basil, not Karma. Karma doesn't exist. Karma's not real. Actually, I'll show you who Karma is. No, I'll show you who Karma is. I'll show you who Karma is. I'll show you Karma. This is Karma. That's Karma. Yeah, Karma's a bit of a weapon. That's League of Legends. That's Karma. That's an fan thing. Be Karma. Pretty crazy. And this is Basil. You too. I'm about to go to bed, Solus, so I'll be live tomorrow at 8 a.m. Probably playing some either Breath of the Wild or Dinkum, depending how I feel. Most likely Dinkum. Oh yeah, I look forward to it. I'm also live. Solus, I also have a Discord channel if you'd like as well to join before you go. That's very cute, Marissa's. Very cute cat. Let me know if that link works. I've been having issues with it. If not, send me a message on TikTok and I'll send you one privately. Actually, I think I can get into your messages anyway. Here, I'll send you an invite. I just sent you an invite on you should have a message request. I'll fix that for tomorrow's stream. Adara will be here. I really appreciate you dropping that cat photo. I love the cat. I want to get a cat. Guys, so hear me out. We need idea, right? Idea. I need to get big enough streaming to the point where I could afford my own place so I can get a cat. Easy enough, right? I've just kept doing Solus. Welcome to the Discord community. I can't get a cat right now, guys. I can get a cat if I get my own place, but I don't have money for my own place. I would love a cat. Good night, Solus. You have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. I will get a cat one day. One day. I want a cat. I'll set the next goal. How much is it? How many bits will I need to be wait. How many bits? Guys, I'm gonna next goal is gonna be 117 million bits. Once we hit that 117 million bit goal, we can then buy a cat. What do we think? I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Guys, I'm saying this right now. I swear like $117,000. I swear. Actually, let me have a look. Let me have a look. Wait, let me look. How much AUD is 170 million bits. Never mind. That's way too much. So it's not 117 million because that would buy me a $2.5 million house. So it's realistically, it's only about what? Let's go 50 million. $50 million bits, guys. Once we hit 50 million bits, that's only $700,000. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I will get a cow one day. But no, I swear to you all, Void. I'm about to end the stream, unfortunately. I swear to you all, if I ever get to a point where I can get my own place from streaming, I will buy a cat immediately. Immediately. Oh, never mind. What have you, mate? Oh. It's actually about 500k for you. Good night, Deacon. I'm about to go to bed as well. Good night, guys. I won't forget you guys. Don't worry. I saw that karma. I won't forget you guys. Don't worry. I won't switch up on my day ones. Good night, everybody. I hope you've all had a great stream. Are we live in about 10 hours time? Oh, wait, was it 8 to 11? Or was it? Yeah. So tomorrow's stream, right, is set for 8 to 11. But it's realistically 8 until whenever the heck I want to stop. Oh, no stress, Ron. Have fun in the office, mate. But I will be going to bed now. So I'm going to end the live in 3, 2, 1. I can't do it that late because I got a dinner with my grandparents on Tuesday evenings, guys. Dinner with my grandparents on Tuesdays. So I can't. Anyway, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.